every day you have a choice, right? What to do with your day, who you are for that day. I mean, at your core, you are who you are, a product of your environment, your upbringing, your core beliefs, that kind of thing. But let's say you, for various reasons, have taken a turn sideways. You've done some weird things, some bad stuff, downright nefarious things. I don't know. Can you change? I think you can because I know for a fact you can. We've had several folks on this very radio show talking about becoming different people, changing the habits. Now, there's always the possibility you revert back, but I mean, you can change, I think. But let's find out because we have an expert on that exact thing and a number of other things when it comes to psychology and stuff, regional psychological services, and Dr. John Braccio. I call it our What's Up Doc. Hey, Doc Braccio, how are you, buddy?
Very good, my friend. Listen, good talking to you. And I must say, it often amazes me that people believe they cannot change or that others cannot change. After more than half a century in my work in education and psychology, I can guarantee you can change if you desire and have the required will to do what needs to be done. It's really not an easy process because we are really the product of all the countless thousands of decisions, experiences, memories, and beliefs that make up who we are, which come into play when we make decisions, assess people and events in our lives as we encounter them. The more ingrained in self that we are, well, the harder it is to make changes. With that said, I believe anyone can change themselves if they decide they're going to recognize it's going to take a lot of work, make themselves open to other beliefs and outlooks, recognize many of the things they do and say could be offensive and counterproductive, try to take that into account in personal interactions, determine what makes them happy in their lives, and decide to change those areas of concern that cause them conflict or those they love and care for in their lives. Now, they may seem simple, but Mike, this is very difficult for people to do. For whatever the reason, people often find it hard to self-reflect on themselves and more or less just accept they are the way they are and figure there's really no point in trying to make changes. Well, if this is your view, then I say rubbish, okay, because changing self will not occur. Now, suggestions on what to do to make changes would include you acknowledge the areas of concern. You just come out and say, hey, I have these issues. And then you determine now it's the time to make the changes. Yeah, if you really want to change yourself. You want to develop a plan to do this. You want to seek the support and aid of persons you trust to help you. Recognize suggestions as cooperation, opportunities to help you, okay, change you rather than attacks on you personally. Develop greater sensitivity for those around you. Taking care of yourself emotionally as you make changes, because that's really an important thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
As you're changing, there's really little doubt about that. And what you want to do, too, is develop the self-discipline that's really needed to bring about the changes you desire. And seeking out a therapist, someone who can be helpful to you, that works with persons who, desire to make changes, help you make changes. They can give guidance. And having a group of people around you, that really can be supportive. And just to remember, Mike, to change yourself can be difficult, but potentially, be a very fulfilling new voyage, life loaded with new purpose, exciting opportunities, and just plain, pure enjoyment. Problem is with people, they kind of get used to who they are. Whether they're cantankerous, argumentative, difficult, they just say, well, that's the way I am. And when I talk to people that say, can I change? I always say yes, and we can change. So that becomes really an important thing. Yes, you can change is a good way to really look at your life. And if you don't, it can make life difficult for you and those around you. Yeah, you can do it.
Well, as I said, we've had several people on this very radio show who have gone through that. Scott Allen Curley, my friend Charlie Burrow, and a number of others. And wouldn't it be, it's kind of important if you yourself understand that you want to change for the better. When we say change, we're talking for the better. You're not going to be a good person to decide to be a bad person. but change would be for the better, whatever that better is, you got to surround yourself with people who've been there and done that, don't you?
You really do. It becomes critical to, have people around you that behave really in the way you think you would like to, and people that can support you too. Having a support group is really important. You can say, hey, I want to be less cantankerous, less negative, find more positive things in life, and just say, hey, give me some heads up, give me some ideas, and being around these people. A lot of times a group of downers get together. Yep, it's going to be a bad day today. It really is. It's going to be worse than yesterday. No, it's going to even be worse than that. Well, there are people like that. I mean, they look for negativity, and unfortunately, you've heard that birds do run together in a flock. So you just want to make sure that you're not around downers or negativity or people that find the flaw in everything, because it's easy to pick these traits up. Negativity is a very easy thing, Mike. It's amazing how many people can find the negative rather than the positive. And really, success in life and happiness in life is the sequence of many positive decisions over time. And because when we come up to something to do, to think about, or whatever, we are like a giant computer. All these thoughts that we have within us come forward at that time. And if we're kind of programmed in negativity, that's what's going to happen. So when you want to make these changes, it's really a lot of work. But you have to be using, the cognitive restructuring, being positive. When a negative thought comes in, you have to replace it with a positive one. Otherwise, these things can overwhelm you. And even worse, they overwhelm everybody. Like, maybe not worse, but equally bad. You're also being negative with everyone around you, because you don't want to be the sourpuss. Like, oh boy, here comes Chucky every time he comes around. It's like a cloud of negativity. And then you see Chucky and you say, Chucky, how are you? How could be said of a day like this? Everything is bad. So, yeah, you want people that, with a song in my heart, got the world on the string, just trying to move forward and have positive thoughts, because that's really what makes the world go around in a positive way for people that are moving forward. And you can't complete big dreams if your life is just filled with negativity and nothing good is going to happen. And then you prove it by being negative and finding every negative little thing in life. Oh, my goodness. Life is to be enjoyed. Life is to find purpose. Life is to...
One of the things I think is key is to stop doom scrolling. You know what that is? Where people just go through their feed on their phone or their computer, and they just all of the stories that are just doom and gloom. There's a ton of them out there, but you dwell on it. And then even a good news story, you find like the negative side of it. But you know what I think it is, Doc? Ultimately, I think it takes a little bit more work to act on the positive side of things and be, that guy, as opposed to just the Debbie Downer where he's like, it's easy to be negative all the time. It takes a little more work.
Negative, yeah.
It takes a little more work.
And if you're going to achieve or do things in life, you have to be positive, and you have to be wanting to do this and get satisfaction from it. Because if you are Debbie Downer, if you're just finding negativity in everything, you're not going to do much. You may just be a very gloomy, unhappy kind of a person and bring it on others. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but boy, there are a lot of negative people that don't find positive in life. And this is the one-time shot. As we talked before, you want to try to have purpose and enjoy yourself and help others, and just leave a trail of goodwill as you lead your life. And a lot of people are just, not too many people are not that way at all. So it's something we really need to work on and want to work on, I would think.
And I think people who, and I've fallen into it from time to time, I think we all can, but I think a person who thrives on controversy, negativity, confrontation, I think we're all seeking the good, right? And for them, it feels like a positive. The negative feels like a positive. So there's the evil there. That's the big lie for them.
Well, they think they're realists. They think life is negative, because you can look at anything and you can find good or bad in anything. I mean, a car is a wonderful thing, but if the person's in a car and gets drunk and runs over somebody or runs into a tree, it becomes a bad thing. Having a glass of wine is good. Having 2 bottles of wine is bad. Well, I think so much in life is attitude, and if we want to be happy and positively impact those around us, we just want to have a positive mindset, and we just want to really live a life that is enjoyable and really is kind of exciting, just waiting for the next event, waiting for the next thing rather than waiting for the next setback and seeing everything as a setback. Is really life really is this one-time shot. I mention that a lot. It's really true. I work with a lot of people towards the end of their lives, in their very, very end, and they often will say, I wish I'd been more positive. I wish I'd done more of this. No one says, I wish I'd been more negative more times. I wish I had found worse things in life than I did. I mean, that's really not how happy lives work. So just if you've got these negative views and you have it, just start saying, hey, no more, no mas. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to find good, and I'm moving forward on the move in a good way.
Dr. John Braccio, Regional Psychological Services. As we wrap up, you had mentioned one thing here, to develop a plan to be positive. What would that be, though, besides being around positive people? I get that. You mentioned that as well.
I think once you realize that every time you see something or you interact, you're having a negative view, you have to recognize it. And there are times people will say, golly, once you get in a good mood, once you recognize you have a problem and you want to change, that's the starting point. Then you start saying, what am I going to do differently? Something as basic as, how are you today? You can say, well, I'm working on being positive. I want to see good things. Just something that basic. Just start. It's one step at a time. You can then also try to be around people that are positive. People you might have seen as negative in a way. I don't know why they see happiness in life, but you see they're happier than you are, more successful in the way they approach life. Then the plan would include talking to people like this, trying to find out why are they more positive? What can they do? Maybe discarding some of the negative people in your life. Like when you get together, you just share negative stories. And then if you're watching the news and picking up information, reading, don't always be attracted to the negative one. Chucky ran out of gas. No, you want to have the one, great ride, got exactly where it was going. And so you're looking for positivity, things that are positive, and you're recognizing negativity, and you're recognizing it becomes a choice on what you're going to read, what you're going to listen to, who you're going to talk to, how you're going to interpret things. Not easy plan, but it is important to first recognize, yes, there's an issue, not happy with this issue, dissatisfied, and I'm going to make changes. And you may need counsel along the way. You may need to enlist family, friends to work with you on this, and also seek out positive people. There is a plan, and you can do it. Yeah.
Dr. John Braccio, our pal from Regional Psychological Services. This has been a good one because I know a lot of people like this. I think we all do. Sometimes it's ourselves. Sometimes it's ourselves. Doc, we're way up on time. We're going to get moving, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
See you later. 1320 WILS.